across the city is safe and remains safe. Just to recap some activity over the last 24 hours since we last gathered, we're very fortunate. It was a relatively quiet night from a first responder perspective. There were no additional water rescues that were necessary, so a giant thanks to the entire community for heeding the warnings, for not going around barricades, for not driving through waters. That is paying off, as there have been no additional water rescues since last time we convened yesterday. More roads have been closed since yesterday, and more roads will continue to be closed over the coming days as the Ohio River continues to rise. Over the last 24 hours, the Ohio River has risen over 5 feet, and we expect it to significantly rise higher over the next 2 to 3 days. As you can see, we have an image from 2018 up behind us over here, and the Ohio River is projected right now to crest at or above those levels that we saw in 2018. So just to give the community some perspective about what we're expecting to deal with over the coming days and week, that is the closest reference point to what is currently projected. And again, over the last 24 hours, the waters have risen over 5 feet, and we're expected them to rise an additional 10. The projections have gone slightly up for the peak of the crest. We are already in flood stage right now as a result of the rising waters from the Ohio over the past day. Rain is continued to be expected in the forecast through tomorrow afternoon. And additionally, as you all know from the Ohio River, when it rains elsewhere, that's contributing to this. It's not just the rain here, so that continues. All of our emergency responder agencies have been working very well, closely coordinating amongst themselves and the other emergency responding agencies like the suburban fire departments around the county. I was in Fairdale last night, and we have LMPD, for example, has some water rescue teams that are stationed at the Fairdale Fire Department right now, just so we are closer all across the county in the event water rescues or other emergency services are needing. And so I want to give a thanks to all of our partners at all the suburban fire departments for working closely during this as well. No significant new updates from the updates that MSD provided yesterday. They continue to operate 24/7 at full capacity, working to get all the water out of here as best they can. Again, just want to reiterate a request from MSD that please, if you can avoid using the laundry or the dishwasher this weekend, that will be helpful, because there is such an amount of water going into the system right now that will help. Every bit helps to prevent additional overflows from the sewer treatment facility. So that's the request. Of course, people should and can continue to flush, but if you are able to not use your dishwasher or laundry for the next couple days, that will be helpful. More flood walls have gone up as well, and MSD continues to monitor that as the river continues to rise. MSD will stay ahead of that with any additional floodgates that need to be installed, and our public works team will be continuing to add additional barricades. Again, if you see areas of water, do not drive through them. If you see areas of water that you think we have not yet gotten to, please call 311. Our MetroSafe 311 operators are working through the weekend to take information. We'll get out there and put barricades up. And please turn around. It's not worth anyone's safety. It's not worth any risk to try to drive through water. You might not think it's deep, but you could certainly get stuck, or even worse, could happen to yourself. You know, the impact of the Ohio River flooding has a lot of impact on people's daily lives, and of course impacts on events as well. We've been getting a lot of questions about Thunder over Louisville, which is scheduled a week from today. And so we're joined here today by our great partner, Matt Gibson, the president and CEO of the Kentucky Derby Festival, and other members of his team. And I'm next going to introduce Matt Gibson. And excuse me, following Matt, you'll hear from Chief Paul Humphrey of LMPD, Chief Brian O'Neill of Louisville Fire Department as well, and then we'll be happy to take any questions from members of the media. Matt?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, all of you all, for being here, and thanks to all of our partners who help us make this show happen: LMPD, MetroSafe, MSD, Louisville Fire Department, and others. We can't not only navigate weather and situations like we are this year, but every year. They are always so key in helping us make this happen. Safety is always the top priority of the Kentucky Derby Festival in Thunder over Louisville. We've been doing this a long time. I'm entering my 27th year doing this, and it's not unusual for us to deal with the Ohio and what she brings to this community each and every year, especially in the springtime. It proves to always be challenging. In fact, most years, as many of you all know, we have meetings in this room to discuss it because the Ohio is often outside of its banks like it is at this time. But I will tell you, as we've seen in these coming days, this weather event is like nothing we've seen during our operational period for the Kentucky Derby Festival or Thunder over Louisville. We've seen it before, we've seen it after, and we've certainly dealt with issues during the event itself, but nothing like this. As the mayor said, this is a top 10 historic flooding event. And if you look at the graphs next to us and on the National Weather Service and the NOAA sites, it is one for the record books for sure. While there is nothing more than we'd like to do than to bring everybody together on Saturday to watch one of the best air shows in the country and arguably the best fireworks show in the nation, we realize that at this time it's very logistically impossible to do what we would do and to do it safely, not only for those people who attend our shows, but those people who do extraordinary work to get the infrastructure out there, like our center line marker for the air show that allows the aircraft to know where they are during the air show in the airbox. Those amazing partners that work the river every single day, from LMPD's dive team to Louisville Fire Department's rescue teams, the tug operators from our various partners that hold the barges in place for the show, move all of our equipment around where we load the fireworks, Zambelli, who's out there trying to do what they're doing, and access even the barges to do what we do. Safety, again, is always the top priority when you're scaling what we do to bring a festival of fun to the community at large. It pains me to say this at times because I've been doing this and this really is a labor of love. We've made the very, very difficult decision to cancel Thunder over Louisville this year. I don't think that that's a huge surprise for those in the room today as you start to watch what's happening. When you look at these 2018 event pictures or our February flood event pictures, this is what we're going to be facing, if not worse, in the next coming days, as early or as Wednesday and as late as Thursday, based in part of the graph over the chief's shoulder. This is extraordinary based on those numbers, and it would mean that over 99% of the waterfront is underwater and exceeds all the way back to Melwood Avenue. When the mayor was talking about these floodgates being in place, that's extraordinary even in my two decades doing what we do. We've seen some floodgates and we've had some flooding, but not anything like this. And again, getting people out on the water to do the work that is required to keep the show and move the show forward, it's just not possible at this time. The flood waters will prevent us from doing that. The debris field will prevent us from doing that. The viewing areas along the waterfront will be inaccessible, and even again, accessing the barges to install the fireworks at this time, because a lot of work is underway even up until this point, and we believe even tonight that we won't even be able to access the barges to even do so. So the height and the speed of the river will prevent us from safely doing that. And again, it's a hard decision to do, but when we can't even access the island that we do the drone show from right there at Shippingport Island, it was an easy decision, a painful one at that, to make this very, very hard decision. So unfortunately, Thunder is such a large-scale event and massive logistical undertaking with all of the federal, state, local, and metro partners that we work with, that rescheduling and postponing is just not an option. There's not another date that we can look at. We researched that exhaustively as we moved the event forward based on the holidays, and knowing that there are other things happening in this community that if we couldn't do our event, we would absolutely be interfering with something else entirely. And it takes a year of planning, as our producer Wayne Hettinger will tell you. He's the guy that does this every single day of his life, and this was not a decision that we came to very easily. It's been a tough one. and one for the record books for sure, because we've not had to make this decision, the pandemic notwithstanding. So believe me when I say that we're just as disappointed at everyone. It is absolutely a labor of love for my team, our staff, the board of directors, all of our sponsors and partners, and those who make us, who help us make this happen. And we know our focus needs to be on the community and all of those affected by weather. When you have 300 state roads closed currently, when you have houses that are being damaged, when we're talking about people being mindful about flushing or washing their dishes and taking showers, and our public safety partners like Louisville Metro Police, Public Works, who are out doing the real work that they all signed up to do, and that's keeping the public safe and making sure that people continue to stay safe. It's hard to have a discussion about let's have a fireworks show when there are a lot of people in need right now. So let me reassure you, we have a full schedule of the Kentucky Derby Festival. Obviously, there was a delay between Thunder and the rest of the festival going into April, but all of those events are still on. We're not talking about cancellation for all of those. All of those events will still be going on just as they always do. We have over 70 events beyond Thunder over Louisville. Our kickoff luncheon is this Friday, and we plan to continue to hold that. That sits right on the banks of the Ohio, but we will have a full schedule that you could go to our website at kdf.org to tune in, and all of those things will be ongoing. Pegasus pins are still for sale, and they're out there doing great. Our teams are working hard. If there are adjustments that we have to make because the venues are affected, it's what we do and it's what we do best. So if you all have any questions, we'll be here after. But it's always our mission to bring the community together in celebration, and we still plan to do so. So thank you, Louisville, and thank you for all of you all being here today.
So I want to say thank you to Matt and KDF, as well as the mayor, and the community ahead of time, because I think we all know how significant of a decision this is, and even though it's a logically an easy decision to make, it's a tough one for the community. And so I'm appreciative that they made this decision based on public safety needs. When you image search Louisville, I think you all see images from Thunder over Louisville and how much it means to us as a community. And so it's very important that we put public safety first, and understanding that resources are limited, and we have to put those resources where they're needed in order to keep people safe. The police department has about 20 rescue divers that can participate in this, and they go into working with KDF and the fire department and doing all the pre-checks and everything to make sure that Thunder is safe. But their primary job is being tasked right now to make sure that everyone is safe out there. The fire department has a few dozen divers. Some of the suburban fire departments have rescue divers, and so it's important that we primarily put those resources where they're needed to keep people safe. And to echo the mayor's point, I also want to say thank you to the community for heeding the warnings. If you go out there and make a poor decision and put yourself in danger, you're putting the lives of officers and firefighters in danger, and so you're risking their families as well. So we are very appreciative that everyone has heeded the warnings, and we will continue to make decisions in order to protect the safety of the community. And I'm grateful that everyone standing here with us today has done the same. So thank you, and I'll turn it over to the fire chief.
I want to echo what Chief Humphrey just said. We are happy to make house calls. We will, but we don't want to have to do so. If you call us, we're coming to help you. But yes, if you can stay in and stay safe, that's what we need. Obviously, yes, this is emotionally, it's hard to not have Thunder over Louisville, but we cannot risk rescue divers in this type of water, and that is something that's necessary for the pilots, so we can't do that. If you look at, we're very fortunate that we did not have any water rescues overnight or this morning, but please don't allow this kind of, since we haven't had this huge storm like we did earlier this week, this has been more of a steady encroaching water and rain. Don't let that lull you into a false sense of security. Maybe you've been out today running some errands and you saw that some of the underpasses and viaducts are open. They might not be that way tonight. We've got another system that's going to hit us. We're going to have a lot of heavy rains. Please try to stay safe. For the fire department, we've put on extra boat crews, so we are prepared, and we've got those spaced around the city to make sure that we're ready in case they are necessary. We also, I want to just remind that the rest of the state is suffering along with us. We have a Swiftwater team that's in Casey County right now, helping out there, and so that you don't lose sight of what the rest of the state is going through. It's much worse as you get further south and west of here, down towards Mayfield, Paducah, and there are teams in state from Vermont, from Georgia, and from Maryland that are here to help out the rest of the area. Obviously, we're fortunate here in Louisville that you've got the Louisville Police Department, Louisville Fire Department that can handle this, but other areas of the state are not so fortunate. But please continue to stay safe, stay inside unless you absolutely need to get out. And if you even think that there's water, do not try to drive through it because you have no idea how deep that might be.
Thanks, Chief O'Neill, Chief Humphrey. Thank you to Matt as well. And just to reiterate a couple things that were already said, that when you look at the projections for where the Ohio River is going to crest and how long it's going to take for it to get back to its usual stage, this, while a challenging decision, disappointing decision, was not even a close decision. Because when you look at the projections, it will be way above any, even in these models here to my right, you can see that it's going to be way above the safety zone for pulling off a Thunder over Louisville. Matt and his team at Kentucky Derby Festival make the challenging happen every year. Having 70 events in such a short period of time is something unlike any other city in the entire country enjoys. They're used to dealing with challenges. They're used to reacting to Mother Nature, to making decisions on the fly. But this one here is really not even possible because of the unique set of circumstances and the danger that the Ohio River is creating with this top 10 historic flood event that we are in the process of experiencing here in Louisville. Matt, I just want to say to you and your entire team, thank you all so much. I know this was not easy. Given a year's worth of work that goes into one of Louisville's greatest days of the year every year, as you said arguably the best fireworks show. I will say definitively the best fireworks show in the world every year for the entire community to enjoy. But to end on a positive note, as Matt said, there are 70 other Kentucky Derby Festival events that bring our community together, that display our hospitality to the world in the run-up this year to the 151st Kentucky Derby. All of those other events are scheduled. All those other events are planned to go on. There might need to be some tweaks here and there. I'm looking forward to running in the mini marathon in a couple of Saturdays. That route might need to be slightly tweaked because of these floodwaters as well. But that race will go on. All of the favorites, the parade, the balloon, all of those are still scheduled. And so I really do hope, while we're not going to have Thunder this year, the entire community can come together, can enjoy these other wonderful Kentucky Derby Festival events as we get ready for the best time of the year here in Louisville to celebrate the Kentucky Derby in our great city of Louisville. Thank you all very much, and all of us are happy to answer any questions that you all might have.
Has Thunder over Louisville ever been canceled before?
With the exclusion of the pandemic and what everybody faced during that time in its 36 years, it has never been canceled before. And much in large part to the great partners that are standing in this room and that have been alongside us to make the extraordinary happen. But this is a unprecedented event currently.
Matt, in terms of postponing a week or two, would even
Yeah.
the water levels, be even applicable to even having the event, a week from now or 2 weeks from now?
Certainly, and we moved the event a week forward this year, and a lot of that was based on a lot of discussions with the community on the Easter impact and our ability to even have an air show and the like and the resources needed. But even barring that, it would be tough because of all of the requirements that it takes to move the fireworks from their home location to here, the federal agencies that sign on board, scheduling for all of the partners that help us do it, one of the largest open-air venues in the country on an annual basis, and that huge lift. It's not like if we had to move the balloon race by a day or so or another event because of its magnitude. It's virtually impossible to do so. Looking at other dates on the calendar, we know that it would have a gross impact. This is a very event-friendly and event-centric town. Something that we would move because our date was unavailable because of a historic flood would certainly impede on something else that makes quality of life in this community so great. So we're very mindful of that.
Can you speak on how, this is the opening to
Yep.
the Kentucky Derby, and I'm sure brings in a lot of people and brings in revenue?
It certainly does.
How that might affect that part of it?
Absolutely. And in conversations with our partners at Churchill today, too, as we were prepping for this, Thunder alone, through a recent economic impact study, makes up $126 million of our over $200 million economic impact. That is a huge income generator for the community and the state as a whole, and really contributes to the things that makes this community great. That's why it was not an easy decision. The mayor and myself and other community leaders have been having this conversation since Monday of this week as we started to watch what looked like a normal springtime event until the last couple days when we really started to look, which is why, as we've said, it is a tough decision, but it is the right decision. We will be back to make up that extraordinary impact next year from an economic standpoint. And the rest of the festival really does impact another almost 100 million just for the other events alone when you exclude Thunder over Louisville. And that's part of what we do as the small not-for-profit. I've got the best team in the world as the staff and an amazing board of directors. But it's more than just producing events. It's about creating and contributing to the quality of life of this great community. So.
Matt, what's going to be the impact to the vendors that...
So here at about 3:30 here on your Saturday afternoon, we just heard from Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg. We just heard from Matt Gibson, who is the president and CEO of Kentucky Derby Festival. They are canceling Thunder over Louisville. That was set to happen next weekend. And they did say it'd be because of the severe weather and the flooding. They said it was a disheartening and a heartbreaking decision that they had to make, but it was not a close decision because of all the resources that they would need to move because of the flooding. So here are some key points that Mayor Craig Greenberg just went over. They are expecting the Ohio River to rise another 10 feet. It's risen about 5 feet over the last 24 hours. Safety has been their #1 priority, which went into why they canceled Thunder over Louisville for next weekend. And so the river will crest at or above the levels that we saw in 2018. And they're asking for anyone out there to please turn around if you see flooded waters and flooded roads, and to call 311 if you do see flooded roads that have not yet been helped by the city. So again, Thunder over Louisville has been canceled for next weekend, not rescheduling as of now. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you here at 6:30.